Biden's popularity slips, jets for Ukraine, controversial laws pass. Now, it's one thing to be unpopular with your rival party. That's pretty common, right? But it's another thing if your own party has their own reservations about you running for president. Ouch, right? Now, this is exactly what's happening as Democrats are showing less support for President Biden given his age and questions that revolve around his mental capacity to keep doing his job. Do you guys believe that he's still equipped to hold office until 2028? There's one recent instance that people are questioning. They're questioning his cognitive abilities, and I got the footage. GOP presidential candidate Nikki Haley, she doesn't think so, but not because he's not mentally fit. She says that by 2028, President Biden may not even be here anymore. Wow, that's honestly pretty dark. The White House gave a scathing response, and I got the full statement. More on that one later. Now, the Pentagon looks to be having a lot of issues with getting Americans out of Sudan, and it's getting to a point where other countries are doing a better job of protecting their own people compared to us. Isn't it frustrating to hear about more of our fellow countrymen being stuck in another war? Florida just passed a law that would allow their governor, whoever might be sitting in office, it would allow their governor to run for president, and in the off chance that he or she loses, still gets to be their governor. Tell me you're running for president without telling me you're running for president, right? And some Democrats and Republicans are saying that the Ukraine needs to be provided F-16 fighter jets. Do you guys think that just like the tanks were never going to be sent, that we're now going to be sending fighter jets worth like $80 million to the country of Ukraine? All right, let's not waste any time. Let's get to your daily dose of the truth. Oh, and by the way, for the best way to invest in gold or silver, make sure to check the links in the description down below this video. Florida Governor Ron DeSantis wants to have his cake and eat it too. Why? Well, a measure that's attached to a much broader elections bill would essentially make it so that an office holder running for president or vice president would not need to resign if they intend to run. GOP Representative Ralph Mazzullo defended that this wasn't a carve-out for DeSantis. He said, quote, "It is an individual office that is unique. It's the chief executive of our country. This isn't just for our governor, it's for anyone in politics," end quote. Now, critics say that since he has until 2027 to be governor, this gives him a fallback if he does run and things don't go well. Any thoughts on this one? From our possible president hopeful to one who's already announced her plans, Nikki Haley took a shot at President Biden and his age, although the shot was far below the belt for many people.
He's announced his, that he's running again in 2024. And I think that we can all be very clear and say with a matter of fact that if you vote for Joe Biden, you really are counting on a President Harris, because the idea that he would make it until 86 years old is not something that I think is likely.
Yeah, that happened. I mean, we can take shots at policies and fumbles with said policies, but this one was a little bit out there, don't you think? White House Deputy Press Secretary Andrew Bates talked to NBC News and had this to say to Haley, quote, "As you know, we don't directly respond to campaigns from here, but honestly, I forgot she was running," end quote. Dang, man. Do you guys think that Haley's comments were uncalled for? Or is she right that we should worry about the president's age? But to be honest, I forgot that Nikki Haley was running. Now, if you guys ask President Biden, he's not worried at all, or at least not much. Check this out.
How old I am, I can't even say the number. It doesn't register with me. They're going to judge whether or not I have it or don't have it. I respect them taking a hard look at it. I take a hard look at it as well. I took a hard look at it before I decided to run. And I feel good. I feel excited about the prospects. And I think we're on the verge of really turning the corner in a way we haven't in a long time.
The bad news for the president is that not many Democrats are at ease with his age, and the polls show his popularity going down, with some thinking that he's not as mentally equipped as he used to be. Some are pointing to this video to prove the point.
What was the last country you traveled to?
The last country I've traveled, I'm thinking what's the last one I was in. I've been to 89, I met with 89 heads of state so far. So I'm trying to think, where was the last place I was? It's hard to keep track. I mean, yeah, you're right, Ireland. That's where it was. How'd you know that?
Now, I'm not sure if he was just playing dumb here and wanted the kids to kind of have that feel-good moment of giving the president of the United States an answer to a question, or if he actually did forget that he just came from Ireland recently. What do you guys think? And stuff that he shouldn't forget, though, thousands of Americans are still stuck in Sudan, and the Pentagon says that they're having trouble getting more of them home. More U.S. government officials in Sudan were swiftly taken back to the United States. Other citizens were advised to stay and seek shelter, as the same can't be done for them.
Late word tonight of a 72-hour ceasefire, another attempt to stop Sudan from spiraling into civil war, as two rival generals battle for control, leaving more than 16,000 Americans, many of them dual Sudanese nationals, stranded in the war zone. There are no U.S. plans for a mass rescue mission. The U.S. Embassy is urging people to shelter in place or find safety, if they can, at their own risk.
We've continued to be in close communication with U.S. citizens and individuals affiliated with the U.S. government to provide assistance.
In Khartoum, running battles have cut the power and water. The airport, where fighting has been intense, is closed.
Now, this has the United States being ridiculed by other countries for not having a proper plan to have our own people taken to safety. China, India, and Pakistan are all being compared to the United States as they've continued to bring home most of their own citizens.
Germany, Italy, France, Spain, the UK, and others have managed to run flights to airlift their citizens, and some Americans. But thousands of Americans remain. Mohammed Ahmed is trying to escape to Egypt by bus. His family back in Iowa is nervous, saying ticket prices are skyrocketing.
I just wish that our federal government would reconsider helping citizens. It isn't right to leave them behind like this.
From one war to another, some Democrats and Republicans, they're saying that we need to listen to Ukrainian President Vladimir Zelensky and use our taxpayer money well. How, you ask? By providing them with everything that they need, and by everything, they mean F-16 fighter jets. Democratic Representative Jason Crow said this in a recent interview, quote, "It is in our best interest for Ukraine to win. It is in our own self-interest to lean in and give them what they need. The Ukraine is at a critical time in this war. F-16s provide more range than ground-based systems, and they could help provide Ukraine with air superiority," end quote. And in a letter headed by Republican Senator Lindsey Graham, they requested that Biden do something about this and to do it with extreme urgency. In the letter, they said, quote, "The combination of tanks, fighter aircraft, and ATA-CMS will help Ukraine confront the upcoming Russian offensive and go on offense in both the east and the south in an attempt to further erode Russia's capability to continue fighting the Ukraine. Let's give the Ukrainians everything they need to win now," end quote. So what are you guys' thoughts on this? I mean, I know how some of you guys feel because I read your comments. And although it is painful to see what is happening to the people of Ukraine, it's also tough to see just how little to nothing is being done for Americans inside and outside of our country. But again, I'm gonna leave that judgment up to you guys. Now, the very least that could be done to help us would be to ensure that this economy gets back up on its feet. A task that's much easier said than done. I mean, like, how many Americans are now behind on their credit card payments? How about car payments? How about rent payments, mortgages? The way inflation is at the moment, like, many people have lost out on hope on purchasing power. Now, of course, gold and silver could be a great way to protect wealth. For one of the best ways to invest in gold or silver, check out the links in the description down below. Now, I'm always reading up on what's new in the stock market and real estate, and it's looking better by the day as I'm seeing more prices go down. Cash flow isn't much of an issue as I've been dealing with side hustles and small businesses and making sure that I have money through multiple streams of income, especially during a recession. So here's the good news. If you guys want to learn more about what I just talked about, feel free to drop me some comments down below. It'll just take a few seconds and it'll let me know that you guys are interested in these subjects. Now, before I wrap things up, please do your boy a favor, drop a thumbs up for the video and subscribe for your daily dose of the truth. Appreciate you guys watching. I'll see you on the next one.